Welcome, Hollis. I'm so happy to have you here and so happy to share about you, who you are, your journey of us working together and your evolution. And let's just start off. I would love you to just share with everyone of who are you? What do you do?
Such a good question. I feel like most entrepreneurs, we wear so many hats. I mean, and human beings as well. But I am a content creation coach for entrepreneurs. I help entrepreneurs with helping them feel seen, I guess, and showing up in their marketing and on social media in a way that feels authentic to them, that actually feels like them and doesn't have this sort of like contrived feeling about it, because it can be awkward, showing up online and talking and vulnerable, sharing yourself. But I believe so deeply that everyone has this like incredible uniqueness and magic about them. And the more that they can tap into that, the better they feel in the world, but the more clients come to them, the work they get to do, they enjoy more. So much of that, which I've learned from you, which is so wonderful. So I do that. I have been an entrepreneur for 22 years, I think.
Yeah.
I ran our family farm market and bakery for 14 years. I have four children, a husband that's an entrepreneur. So yeah, it's just a lot of moving pieces and parts. But what I love about kind of where I flowed into with coaching is that I get to access that creativity and something that I love, being creative and storytelling and having fun with that. So that is currently,
Yeah.
I think, some of the things that I am up to.
Yeah. And that's what's so cool, I feel, of watching your journey. It's like when you first started with me, you were just also fresh in the coaching world and,
Hmm.
finding, okay, I'm doing business coaching. And it's been so cool to watch you go from your experience of leaving, the family business and the farm and really go into paving your own. And then it's so cool because it's like one breadcrumb has led you to the next of what you
Hmm.
really want to be doing, which
Hmm.
is incredible. So
Yeah, it is.
incredible. So I,
When I think about it, it's exactly that, right? It's just like I think from the get go, because I had done so much before, spent so much time being an entrepreneur. I thought when I even if I switched gears, that I would still know exactly what to do or what I would want to do. And I was like, oh, this is a completely different space. I went from, making pies to being a service-based industry that is completely different. And so
yeah,
even being able to walk through not beating myself up for not doing better, not knowing better, right?
yeah,
Like it's a completely different, business model, completely different experience in what we get to do. But the things I just feel always, which I think is always the hope, but you get closer and closer to the things that you love, or getting real clarity on like, oh, I
yeah,
really like this, or oh, I'm good at this. Like I've had so many of those aha moments with you. I was like, oh, I can just do that, or oh, I didn't
yeah.
know. So I think that that is also a huge wonderful piece of entrepreneurship as well, is just the endless
Totally.
discovery.
Totally. Yeah, no, it's such a, I mean, it's, as we talk about all the time, it's such a journey of discovering yourself because
Yeah.
to really make it last, you have to love what you do. And so
Mm-hmm.
anywhere you aren't loving it, it's like the offers change as you evolve as a person, which I feel
Mm-hmm.
like has been really true for you is like honoring, okay, what do I want to do? And what is fun for me and what is enlivening? And so would love to hear because you have grown so much from just the year and a half together and just the journey and like there's been so many iterations but when we first started where were you in the business side of things with clients and I think you were potentially launching I can't even remember where you
Yeah,
were.
I know, right? Like I'm like, so that was, yeah, Jill. Yeah. So I had gone full time into business coaching in January, and then I started working with you in July. So at that point, I had hosted an entrepreneurship
Yes,
event
event.
in person. So we did like a day long event, which
Yeah,
was really wonderful. And then I was starting to put together, I guess my offerings in general. So I was developing what
yeah,
one-on-one coaching looked like, a group program, which I launched that September, what that looked like. And yeah, just I guess coming up with not so much the material, but just like I said, like all the behind the scenes stuff is just like, okay, what should I be talking about? How do you run a group program? What does, this look like in a service-based industry, and how do you talk about it? And what parts of it do I really love and enjoy? So that was, yeah, I think the bulk of like probably the first like 6 months of working with you was
Yeah.
figuring that out, and then getting clear, I think even a year ago then, of like, okay, it's just constant refinement, I think, is really what it is just like, okay, I liked that. That was
Yeah.
great. Now, what I
Yeah.
actually really love is really deep connection. So I recognize that I love working one-on-one with clients, and I would rather work with less clients, but really serve them in a deeper way. Okay, so what does that
Yeah.
look like? What does that business model
Yeah.
look like? What does that look like in terms of marketing? How do I structure my days? How do I structure
Yeah.
my time? um and then moving from there to that one-on-one place, and knowing that's what I really liked, in then I guess 8 months ago, going, okay, I really love the creativity and content stuff. Or I remember the call, like specifically when we were talking about types of content, and you were teaching us all the different types, and you were like, okay, everyone, you need to tell me more about your life. I want more lifestyle content from all of you. What are you doing with your life? What is happening? Everyone except Hollis. I don't need any more of
Yeah.
that from you. And I was like, okay, yes, I do need to do more of the other content. But it was this aha moment where I was like, oh, I do that a lot because it's easy for me to do. But if I'm
Yes.
the only person on this call who it is easy for, I guarantee there's other entrepreneurs that are having a hard time creating lifestyle
Yes.
content that like is vulnerable and connects and storytelling. And so that was like where I was like, oh, you don't recognize, the things that come naturally to you as easily. So when those aha moments happen, you're like, oh, okay, great. And so then from there, going, okay, well, I know entrepreneurship really well. I work, I've
Yeah.
been an entrepreneur, and that's what I do. So how can I use that kind of aha moment to shape what feels really great, for the next iteration
Yeah.
of what that coaching looks like.
Yeah, so good. So good. And it's been also, something I want to name of your journey that's been so cool to witness is it's not that you jumped from one thing to the next because it wasn't
Mm-hmm.
working.
Yeah.
And like it's like you were successful. You had a group, it was really successful. You had one-on-ones in the business coaching, you were successful. And then with content and you're successful with it. And I think that's the thing that's really cool about how your journey has unfolded is that I think a lot of people jump to, oh, I want to
Mm-hmm.
do this, but really as an escape from, I feel like a failure at what I've done. And so
Mm-hmm.
it's not working. And
Mm-hmm.
yours has really been a calling, like this is working. I have people who will easily stay in this group program,
Mm-hmm.
or stay in this container, but you have really listened to making sure that you're really building a business that you're really passionate about and that you actually enjoy, and that's the undercurrent underneath every pivot. And I also want to acknowledge, and we've taken you very incremental, so we've never just been like, okay,
Yes.
we're pivoting the business. It's like, no, we're following that the program, the
Mm-hmm.
offers, the clients all the way through, and we're making slight transitions
Yeah.
so it doesn't destabilize the business as
Mm-hmm.
well. And I just want to acknowledge, like, that's such a different way of creating, and
Mm-hmm.
also just acknowledge, like, what was it, if you don't mind sharing,
Mm-hmm.
what was it in December? You had such an amazing month in business.
Yes, I did. It was it December and November. I think November was like,
Or
yeah, the highest revenue month that I've ever had was, I think, yeah, November. And it was incredible. And it was just this moment. I think it's so accurate what you just said, because one of my biggest fears, I think, internally or in my head was like, oh my gosh, Hollis is doing this. Okay, now Hollis is doing this. Now Hollis is doing something completely different. And like, she's constantly changing her mind. So I have this like fear
yeah,
of being like flaky, or that like I was just changing all the time. When really
yeah,
it's exactly what you said. It was just like, oh, I really like this. Okay, let's lean into
yeah,
that. Like, we're not doing like a hard left, or like not turning
yeah,
around, right? It's like, oh, I can just tweak slightly. I can maybe attract one client in this area, and then go, oh, I
yeah,
really like this. Okay, now I've, without even
yeah,
trying, then attracted two or three or four
yeah,
more. And then I shift a little bit of what I'm speaking about online. And so I
Yeah.
think that's where the magic happened. And that happened in November, leading up to November for that month was just like all of a sudden people were like, oh, Hollis, Hollis is doing this or sharing this. And it was for
Yeah.
me less about abandoning, exactly like you said, like abandoning and going on. It was more just like, what do I love? And then with your permission and coaching is I can this is connected. This isn't different. I remember you also saying that to me. You're like, this isn't like a different business. Cause I'm like, oh, great. Now I have a whole
Yeah.
new business. I have to start over again. You're like, this is not different. This is the same. This is
Yeah.
more of you.
Yeah.
It's just like tweaking.
Yeah.
And so that was so reassuring for me to know that like
Yeah.
I wasn't just switching and switching. It was more just like getting clearer and clearer, like incrementally, like you said. But then you do
Yeah.
find 2 years later, you wake up in a completely different place, but it hasn't been overnight. It's been over 18 months of just like refinement
Yeah.
and getting to know
Totally.
yourself, which you were so good at getting us to tap into. So,
I'm so glad. Yeah, and it's also, something I want to emphasize of your journey is one thing that has been our focus the whole time is making sure that business is secondary to your life and to being the mom
mm-hmm,
you wanted. And like
mm-hmm,
one of the things I know that we really worked with is like all your marketing strategies and everything we did is like summers are super light, and that
mm-hmm.
like you're home with your kids over the winter and all, they have snow days and you just took your kids skiing for a day. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that's really important. That's something that's been really important to you and
Mm-hmm.
clear to you
Yeah.
of really being a certain type of mom and really
Yeah.
showing up for your kids and they come first,
Mm-hmm.
and the business absolutely comes second.
Yeah.
And one of the things I've loved in watching your journey is like it's like the business is so malleable, right? It's like we can morph
Yeah.
the business to what your life season is, right? When your
Yeah.
kids are home, where I remember we're like, okay, you have 3 hours to get work done some days. What are we prioritizing? And we just like shifted it. And then when they went back to school, it's like we
Yeah.
shifted it. And I think that's the really cool thing is that's been really clear for you all along so
Mm-hmm.
that you can actually do what you want. And again, it's like clients and like opportunities keep coming for you. And, I
Mm-hmm.
remember you're saying, like, you were sharing on our call just last week of this client who came in, and it would never be a client that you would think that would
Yeah.
find you, what is it? Anyways, I don't know if you want to, I think it was banker or something like in that
I'm trying
vein
to
of
remember.
whatever it is, the
Yeah.
business. It was just,
Yeah.
or booking, I don't know. It was just like a different type of business that you would
Yes.
ever even attract.
Yes.
But
Yeah.
it's like, you've been able to set things up. And that's the thing I really want to acknowledge is, you followed the system. You have followed like everything I give you, you follow it and you have, and then it's like then what you need to be doing and you actually
Mm-hmm.
can make your business work well for your life
Mm-hmm.
because it's clear, and
Mm-hmm.
when you're not clear, you're like, Christy,
This
this is what's going on. What do I
is what's
do? Where do I
happening.
focus?
Exactly. Yeah. And
Tell me
I
where to
do. I think
go.
that's the biggest thing. So sometimes, like, my questions are like, I'm, doing this. What about this that do you suggest
Yeah.
specifically? But I find so much it's mostly like, how do I get out of my own head? And I mean, obviously
Yeah.
I coach entrepreneurs, but you still need coaches, obviously, when you do this
Totally.
because you can't see the forest for the trees. I know this. And so like
Yeah.
intellectually I can know something, but like in my
Yeah.
body and in emotionally I know that I am stuck in a certain place. And so that is always so helpful. And I do agree about, the shape of what this business looks like and how the opportunity, like anytime we've done purpose work in Wealthy Woman, anytime we talk about like, why are we doing this? Why are we doing this? Or like, why are you doing your business? What is here for you? All of this
Yeah.
really deep reflective stuff. Every single time it comes back to my children and being with them as much as possible. And the shift from the farm market into doing this coaching, the very first thing of, the summer that I got to spend the entire summer with them and fit in my coaching calls, when needed, that was excellent. And so it excites me then and still does now to continue to evolve a business that moves with whatever stage of life you are at and
Yeah.
just invites in. Exactly. On Monday, we went skiing. I talked to my husband, who
Yeah.
was mentioned as an entrepreneur. And I was like, hey, we looked at our calendars last week and I was like, what day can we go take off next week? And one of the things that is just even in this past month that I've really worked on refining with you is the like, is your calendar, is your time management,
Yeah.
and like what are
Yeah.
Mondays, like what is each day for, and even giving them a
Yeah.
theme. And I literally was like, Mondays and Fridays I'm not doing client calls, I don't have other calls, I'm not, it's open for meal prepping and like what is important to me, setting up my family. So if I'm gonna do that on
Yeah.
Mondays, great, I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on a Monday doing that, and then I'm gonna go through
Yeah.
finances, whatever. And so I knew that, it just helped me make decisions faster and better, because when given that, I'm like, I know Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, I can't this week. So it's just, it
Totally.
create, and I know you've told me this for so long, but it's like, I don't like structure. I resist structure in my brain, or my body, I guess. My brain doesn't, my body absolutely is like, structure is
Yeah.
against freedom and takes away everything that I love. And I know that that's not true. But so much of the work that I feel that you and I are probably the very first thing I ever said to you was something along those lines. Like, I just want to do what
Yeah.
I like, when I like it, with my kids. And you're like, great. In order to do that, we're going to need some structure. And I was like, no,
Yeah.
why?
Yes.
But
Yes. I would
you're
say like the
right.
structure that creates freedom. Yeah.
You're right. You're right.
Totally.
100% right. And so that has really been my focus in the last month, is what are the structures that support me so that I can do
Yeah.
what I want when I want to. But
Yeah.
it's the same thing, right? It's like in business, even that one day of skiing was the very first day that my kids have ever gone skiing. And I just said, what, we had a phenomenal day. They did so well. And I was like, it
Aw.
just felt like a door opening up, right? When something happens in your
Yeah.
business that you're like, I'm going to try this, it goes well. You feel like this door is opened up to like, oh, I
Yeah.
could maybe do this. And so like, even with my kids,
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, great. Like maybe we could go on a ski trip. Oh, we could do this now that this one tiny
Totally.
door is open. I think it's the exact same thing in
Totally.
business, where you're like, oh, I've connected with this particular type of client. Oh, I'm serving a realtor. Oh, that's so
Yeah.
much fun. Well, what does that look like in terms
Yeah.
of content? What
Yeah.
does this entrepreneur look like? And just having fun in the process of opening these doors, keeping a constant, like, theme and a, passion for
Yeah.
what I do as the undercurrent, but allowing it to look and be a little bit different too.
Totally. Totally. And that's everything. And I think that that's also, something I also was reflecting on and listening to you is also how much the process, like you also have been able to do so much just from home.
Mm,
And it's not like you're on all these like networking events 24/7 and
yeah.
on all these Facebook groups. Like all the strategy has been so simple for you. It's been
Hmm.
like creating content,
Hmm.
having conversations, getting
Yeah.
clients. Like it's been
Yeah.
so simple. And
Hmm.
and I really want to say I attribute that also to you as a person. Like you're good at connecting with people, and I've obviously been like, okay, Hollis, say this then and
Yeah.
say this then and this is how we get them in,
Yeah.
but like it's been a really simple strategy,
Yeah.
honestly, for you. It's not like you've done all the like send an email every week and do this thing and put out a
Yeah.
freebie and host like I don't think
Yeah.
I think you haven't done big
I haven't done
launches at
any of
all,
that.
honestly. I was
I've done none of
like, I
it.
don't think you've
I feel terrible sometimes. I'm like, oh, I haven't done that. I don't send emails. I
yeah,
should be doing that more. I mean, there's always more to do, and there's always seasons. And are
sure.
we coming out of a winter
Exactly.
season where all the children were sick? Sure, they were. They were.
Yeah.
I haven't had a single week where they
Yeah.
haven't all been in school, which is fine. But it's also I think is like being okay with there's always more to do.
Yeah.
I'm okay
Yeah.
that I'm not doing everything and that there's still space.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is also leaning into, with your like help at clarifying, like, what am I actually good at? Okay, I'm great at talking.
Yeah.
Even when we go through the content stuff
Yeah.
of or your genius or how you like to show up, I'm like, I like to talk. So
Yeah.
podcasts are great for
Yeah.
me because I can have
Yes.
conversations. In person, I'm really great. But even you saying like, well, where do all of your where's your clients coming from? And I wanted to say Instagram. And then when I really thought hard about it, I'm like, it's from people that I know in real life, like
Yeah.
99%, right? And then like
Yeah.
growing, things have happened in social media, but those people that know me in
Totally.
real life know what I do now in a
Totally.
different way because how I've communicated that too.
Yeah. Yeah. And I want to emphasize it's the people and then it's how you position your social
A
media and your
hundred percent.
podcast.
Yes.
And then they see you in that way, and then you
Correct.
connect with them, and then
Yeah.
they come in and different things. So it's like,
Yes.
and I think that's the thing you have done really well, is like finding what you're good at and just like doubling down on what you're good at. So
Mm-hmm.
I'd love you to share, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't mind, of just what is Wealthy Woman like. If you could describe it, what is it like? What is the experience like? What do you like about it? Anything.
Oh, such a good question. I really feel like it's an anchor for me in terms of just it's an anchor because otherwise in my calendar then it would be like a free for all of like complete openness, which I say I want, but what I need is that anchor and that time to come together with the group, with you. And it just, I build my weeks around that. If I have client calls, they're time blocked off on then when I know that our calls are, and I just use it as a way to guide how I structure my days and my weeks as a starting point. But then when we get into all of the content and all of the material and the coaching, it's always being supported, right? And it's something that I feel so grateful to have as a resource. And I've told you this so many times, but it's if I have a thought or I'm in my head and I know I'm in my head, it's like, okay, I can either stay here or I can share this thought or ask a question or share where I am. Um, but also move through it, right? I think you are just this incredible mix of strategy and embodiment and someone who is so genuinely caring and loving and holds you and also holds you to a standard, right? Where with love, you call up each of us in a way and you know us so intimately and what our challenges are and where we get caught up in our own head. And having that as a resource is so huge to be like, Hollis, this is what's happening right now. This is what you're going to do. And I was like, right. Okay. Yes. And I know that I need that. And that's what I am signing up for as an entrepreneur and
Yeah.
being, open to being coached. But I feel so supported, like so supported. I could ask
Mm.
you anything. I've had some very challenging, situations and things or overwhelming parts of life where I was like, I'm just going to talk through this with Christy. I'm going to share this because
Yeah.
it's a really safe
Yeah.
space. It's not a judgmental space. And so being able to ask the questions and go through all of that, it feels insanely personalized. It always comes down
Mm.
to, yes, you have an incredible portal. I go through the things, I put them in, I listen to them like podcasts when I'm cleaning or doing dishes or driving. And I hear your voice, which always you're so brilliant. And the container that you crafted is incredible because other people in there are going through similar things, different things. I like that everyone is
Yeah.
also at different stages too, because it gives you the opportunity to be, to share your own thoughts and wisdom, but then also receive that back from the community and just that space, the permission, and you see yourself more clearly when you're in a group because people reflect that back to you, whether it's when we're doing
Yeah.
like breakouts or any of that kind of thing. It's just there's so much safety and so much growth and really getting a clear sense, I think, also of like I was resistant to like moving my body before, like at the very beginning. I remember like, okay, we're moving. And I was like, oh, this is like, are we doing this? And now I'm like, yes, we are. This is what we have to
Yeah.
do. I have this as a tool now that I use. And anytime I do it, I was like, God, Christy would be so proud of me. Right. It's like make space for the feeling because I could get lost in feelings. I'm a massive empath. I could just be like wallowing in feeling. Or I could
Yeah.
feel efficiently and then move through it and then move on, which is such a
Yeah.
gift that I feel that Wealthy Women has given me these tools that I use them constantly with my children, my husband, with myself, in business every day.
It's so good. I know that's why I love asking this question, honestly, because it's so fun for me to hear like what your answer is and response
Mm,
is, and it is that. And also you've done such a beautiful job of using the help. Like
mm,
you've leaned into me on like very deeply personal things that have happened, and you've also leaned in of like, and that's why I always say the questions don't even have to be a question. It can just, I'm
mm-hmm.
always like, just tell me what's going on. I will help you through. I've been a coach for over 11 years. I know what I'm doing. Like I can,
Yeah.
whatever it is. And you do such a good job also of like coming at me with strategy and, hey, this is the business, this is what's going on. But also like I know what I need to do. I'm just like at capacity and I need help of how to work with my capacity with life right
Yeah.
now. And I think that is also why you also get so much value is like you use the full spectrum of what's available to you. And it's amazing. It's amazing that you do that. And also, yeah, how much you've like I my favorite thing is when people go, I hated moving and now it's my favorite part of the program. I'm like,
So
yes.
true. Well, because it's
It's
just I don't know how to it makes sense. You
yeah.
know, you have said so many things. You're like if something happened to you right now that you needed to act, if
Yeah.
one of your children needed your state would change immediately and you would go and do what was necessary. And it's like, okay, how do we
Yeah.
harness that same thing for ourselves when we're the only person, not the only, but like the person that needs us is us or our business or a situation.
Yeah.
And it's like it is just it's self-leadership. It is just this deep
Yeah.
deep understanding of how I lead myself and how I talk to myself and how I move through things that feel challenging, and it has changed who I am completely. Not completely, but in a massive way of just adding to my toolbox of parenting, like in a huge way of
Mm.
how I see them, how I am with them, how I also recognize in their body what they are like stuck in too. And so that has
Yeah.
really, I mean, I didn't come for that, but it's just, I think
Yeah.
it's just so holistic. The things that you teach and the
Yeah.
ways that you teach, it is not just business. It is this whole encompassing everything you talk about is your wealthy life and what does that look like? Who I am as a parent, who I am as a wife, who I am as a sister and mother and business owner. And it is just I think the beauty is that the more we do together and the more I learn about myself, I take that everywhere. Like I'm that person
Yeah.
everywhere. And we
Yeah.
talk so much about that freedom, right? It's like that is the ultimate freedom that I get to be myself wherever I go. And it's discovering, part of it is discovering who that is, and then also feeling
Yeah.
brave enough to actually be that wherever you go to.
Totally, totally. And that's like, I always think of it as, we don't think of it in business, but a lot of times that is one of our biggest blocks, right? It's like we
Hmm.
know what we need to do, or, we need to learn content or sales better and practice. But
Yeah.
even just to take, one of the things I love about Wealthy Woman is, like getting feedback from other people. Like, hey, here's
Yes.
how to improve your sales process. Like the way you said that, like this wasn't that strong, or this could have been stronger. But
Yeah.
to actually even be able to take that feedback and use
Hmm.
it, you
Hmm.
have to be able to move through those emotions and the thoughts and the things that and not get kicked into judgment. Just be like, cool,
Yes.
this is a skill I'm learning. These people are in my community. They love me. They support me, and I'm taking the feedback. And I've seen you also like grow so much of just giving the feedback, but also be really taking the feedback and not
Hmm.
being afraid to like grow as a person. That's
Yeah.
something that I feel like you've always had, but I've seen such a difference, the longer you're in it, the more it's like, oh,
Hmm.
it's just feedback. It's just feedback. It's
Yeah.
not, I'm not bad. It's just feedback.
Yes. And it's a very, not a strong muscle to fight against, but it's a message that's been part of, if it's been in your brain for
Yeah.
the better part of your whole life, then it takes a while to undo that automatic
Yeah.
reaction for that any kind of feedback, and that like that your tenseness in your body. And so the things that we do that build our capacity to hold discomfort, hold space for feedback, hold growth, like
Yeah.
it's so huge, and it affects every area of life, but it is consistent. And I 100% in order, and in addition to resisting structure, was also being like, I don't want feedback. There's emails that I never opened of things where I'm like, I don't even want to know, because what if it, right? And so it's just like, and this is like previously, I'm not anymore, I
Yeah.
promise. But
Yeah.
right. But it's just like I know that I was resistant to that, and
Yeah.
so creating safety in that, in our body and in ourselves and in the community, where it's like I know when I'm getting feedback from you, from any of the women in this group, it's like there literally could not be a more safe place for me to say
Yeah.
whatever it is that I want to say. And then
Yeah.
I know that they're going to, be thoughtful and give feedback, and I know, that it's for my own good.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing I love about it is it's so multifaceted because it's like you're getting personalized strategy. You're getting feedback to grow your skill sets, knowing what to focus on, what step you're on in the bigger journey, and like
Mm-hmm.
how do you also work through the human experience of running a
Yes.
business, which is very
Yeah.
real, and like all of it together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's really, I love reflecting on it because I'm like, yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
such a good program.
Yeah,
I
it's
like it so
fantastic,
much.
and it is
Yeah.
simple. And you say this all the time, but the simpleness comes. I think what is so great about you is the simplicity comes from owning the pieces that you're good at, and like not because I also get easily overwhelmed by like, oh, I should do a funnel, or I should have a landing page, or I should have this, and I should be doing that, like you said, right? Like all these things, and it's like, okay, what do you enjoy? What are you good
Yeah.
at? Okay, let's focus on that. And that just alleviates, and whatever. Eventually there's space and room to grow into all of the different things.
Totally.
But like as a starting point and an entry level to like just like acclimatizing to this space in business is also just being like, I can lean into what is works and what I like, and I can learn to build the
Hmm.
muscle of those other layers after the fact too, right? It's not just like do this, do
Totally.
this, do this, do this.
Yeah.
And so that makes it just also, that's what feels simple to me, and like in my brain I'm like, okay, I can do this, and I can go one step at a time.
Yeah. Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, that's something I really try to do is, I even remember when you came in, we talked about your wealthy life vision. It's like, cool, we're going to get there. And it's
Mhm.
like, we have to work on the step you're on right now with
Yes.
where your business is. And then we work on the next step
Yeah.
based off of where you're at to get
Yeah.
there. And it's like, you and your business are a different person and your life is
Hmm.
like totally different person. So
Yeah. And
it's amazing.
keeping you in exactly keep helping you stay where you are and grow.
Yeah.
I think maybe that's also really the heart of it too, is just like you see the bigger picture, you see the vision that we want for
Yeah.
ourselves, we see it, but instead of feeling paralyzed as to how to get there, it's like we are going to stay at the stage of business where we are right now. We're going to really work at
Yeah.
executing, and then we're growing and
Yeah.
constantly growing, but that overwhelm gets taken away. Has I have become significantly less overwhelmed at like what to do or where, and when I do ask myself that, I'm like, I actually know, I just don't want to do it, right? Like
Yeah.
I know I have it, it's very straightforward, Hollis, you're supposed to do this, this, and
Yeah.
this, and so I can't, because once you know, you can't unknow either, like, and
Yeah.
so it's just like then the only thing keeping me here is me being like feeling shy or feeling uncomfortable or whatever the case may be, right? It's just like, oh, I know what to
Totally.
do. I can't pretend that I don't know what to do anymore. I think that's the
Yeah.
biggest thing.
Totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and I think that's the thing, in business is when you know what to do, you can't actually hide from it, right? Your
Yes.
patterns can't play out so
Yeah.
strong because you're like, okay, you can't just go, oh, well, I just heard this random strategy or this person gave me something. It's like, no, no, I got a customized step for
Hmm.
me and my life and my business. I can't
Yes.
avoid that this is what's to do. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
that's what I really try to is like, I make it so personalized to each and every one of
Yes.
you so that you know exactly what to do. That if you're not doing it, then oh, I'm just not choosing to do it, or something's getting caught that I need to choose. And it
Yeah.
becomes so clear. But, I think in day to day business, it's so easy to go, oh, I don't have time, or that
Yeah.
framework didn't work for me, or that method. But it's like because it's so customized,
Yes.
you got nowhere to
Oh,
run.
100%. Because I could say, well, I didn't have a great month last week. Okay, great. Like, did you do this, this, and this that we talked about? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Or
Yeah.
when we're on calls, it's like, you do this, you don't do that. No, that's not for you. Like,
Yeah.
where also, because everything, and you say this too all the time, where you're like, every strategy works. It all works. It just depends who you are, what
Yeah.
kind of business you have. And so that like constant thought of I should try this, I should try this, and you are just like, we're doubling down on what you're good at, we are sticking with it
Yeah.
until we have enough data that we know, right? And so
Yeah.
if I'm not getting results, it's me not executing this straightforward simple plan, and or
Totally.
getting caught up in life and everything. But at the end of the
Totally.
day, it's straightforward. It's just being
Yeah.
willing to do the work to do it.
Totally. Totally. Yeah. And I would love you to share, if you don't mind, Hollis,
Yeah.
just what is it like being coached by me and the community like that, those two aspects. I'd love you. Yeah.
Hmm.
If you're open to sharing all
Yes.
that.
Always. Being coached by you is so wonderful. It is, like I said, it's like this like anchor and support. I just feel so deeply loved and appreciated and cared for. And in a way where you know what is going on in my life. And obviously it's a two-way street. We have communications and we
Yeah.
share, and you have to be willing to be open, but your willingness to provide feedback or your willingness to say what needs to be said is so incredibly valuable, and to hold space when it needs to be held. And it feels, like I said, this incredible combination of your brilliance in strategy. I just feel that it is such a unique experience where I've done incredible coaching and worked with incredible people, but the combination of what you specifically have is so special to me, because it's, I can ask you something that is very specific about strategy and you will give me a very specific answer and effectively tell me what to do. Because then as an entrepreneur, I'm like, I just want someone to tell me what to do. And
Yeah.
you do that from a place of knowing intimately like what my goals are, what my business is for. It's not
Hmm.
in a way that isn't aligned with my business, but then it's also like, Hollis, you need to grow to this place, or you will be like, ask me also for my own reflections and thoughts, and ask me to do the deep work too, right? Like it's just this really
Hmm.
beautiful combination of self-reflection and growth and go and learning skills of, all the marketing things, all the different behind the things, what it actually takes. And it's just this deep level of honesty. And the community is the same, because we're in this space that the leader operates in this way and with such integrity and shares openly, that it makes it a safe space for us to do the same. And whether that's in our chats or Slack or whatever that is, or on the calls, showing up, that we're in a space with people that share the same values, I think is ultimately also what it
Yeah.
comes down to. And it's
Yeah.
just, it's really special and wonderful. And I'm so grateful to have that duality of the soft and the woo woo and the movement and the growth and the embodiment piece, and also the really numbers, nitty gritty, like that balance. Like, I don't feel like I have to only go to someone else to ask this. I don't feel like there's a question that I couldn't ask you, I think is right.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't get an answer that would be helpful.
Hmm. Yeah,
Mhm.
that's so cool. I love that, and it's true. It's like we need the balance of all of it, because
Mhm.
business is everything. It's us, it's our life, it's our business, it's our clients, it's the change in the markets, like it's all of it, and we have to be able to
Mhm.
move with all of it. And strategy alone will only, it takes us far,
Yeah.
but we need also everything.
Yeah.
So I love that. So amazing. Well, anything else that is just on your heart that you want to share before we close out?
Such good questions. I'm just so grateful. I just have so much
Mhm.
gratitude for you, and just the journey that you have walked with me and supported me through is so incredible. And it's also knowing and reminding yourself too of like how you are attracted to someone and that you want to work with, and that what that like values alignment comes in, and
Yeah.
just that the integrity, I think, too, of who you are as a person and who you see and what you share with us is also helps us to feel more connected to ourselves in our journey, but again, just more permission to lean into the things that mean the most to us. And I don't you know I know that I will come to you with something, and you just do have this very clear understanding of like the whole picture of my children and my family or my kids or whatever the pieces are. I
Yeah.
just always feel so deeply supported and so grateful,
Mm.
that you are a message away and that you're in my calendar all the time. Just so joyful and so great, and it gets to
Yeah.
be enjoyable and fun
Yeah.
and not lonely. And like I was an entrepreneur for, oh God, 10 or 11 years before I ever worked with business coaching or any kind of anything. And I'm like, I don't even know how I functioned as a person
Yeah.
without just having, uh, because you're in your head way too
Yeah.
much, because there's nowhere safe for those thoughts or anything to go. And so
Yeah.
having this space and having you is
Mm,
incredible.
thanks, Hollis.
You're
Well, I just
welcome.
adore you and I love you
Thank
and
you,
I love
same.
supporting you. And it's, yeah, it's a joy. It's just it's an honor. Like it is such a gift to me to be able to support you and watch you on your journey and be a part of the journey and know you intimately. Like I think that's the thing that I personally love so much about just this work is, it's yes, it's business, but it's so much more than that. It is like
Mhm.
watching people change their life. Like it is such a gift to me. I feel so given too.
Mhm.
And you're also like so just a joyous, amazing human and so receptive and so open. And you're like, yeah, hit me, Christy. I know I need it. Give me it, or
For
like,
sure.
wow, like, like you really are open and it's amazing. And that's also why you do so well at what you do is you're like an incredible human being to interact with. So,
Thank you.
yeah, it's just a joy. Like every message, every time I see you, every time you share on the calls, I'm like, yep, there goes Holly. There she is. And it's amazing. It's just like yeah, it's such a gift for me to get to know you in such a deep way. So
Thank you.
thank
Thank
you.
you. Well,
Yeah.
you have been
Yeah.
the reason why I feel like I know myself better or know what those gifts are or what the things are that uniquely I do too, right? Like you also, because you see so much, you reflect that back so beautifully to each of us. Um, and so that also helps me to feel confident in what it is that I do or what I bring to my clients and how I
Thanks.
help them. And it just builds me up in a totally different way that just gives me such joy.
I'm glad. Well, such a pleasure. And also,
Always.
yes, for anyone listening, Hollis is amazing at content. If you want to feel comfortable with content, get your services out there, which everybody needs to do. Hollis is absolutely amazing at it. Go look at her page. Go look at what she does. It's so fun. She just does such a great job and such a great job of bringing people out so that you sell what you do really well, but it also really feels like you. And that's what she's so good at. So thank you again,
Yeah.
Hollis, for being here. I appreciate you so, so, so
Thank you
much.
for having me. I appreciate you. Had a wonderful time
Uh,
as always.
yay. Okay.